Let me ask you something, and it may sting more than you expect. How much of your energy has been poured into proving your worth to people who were never truly invested in you? Think about it for a second. How many times have you sat there with your phone drafting a post or sitting at a table explaining your big plan, big vision, waiting for that nod, that reaction, that little spark of approval that makes you feel like you've already achieved something before you have even begun? We live in a world that trains you to put your life on display, show your wins, show your struggles, show your daily grind. But here is the harsh reality nobody likes to acknowledge. Most people talk endlessly about the work because they are terrified to actually confront the work. They announce their plans because the applause feels like victory. But applause is not victory. Applause is an addiction. And every time you speak out simply to feel validated for something you have not built yet, you drain the very power required to bring it into existence. There is psychology behind this failure. When you proclaim, I am starting that business next year, I am losing 30 pounds, I am writing that book, your brain releases dopamine. It fools you. It hands you the chemical reward of achievement without demanding the sweat, the struggle, or the discipline needed to earn it. You feel productive, you feel accomplished, but in reality, you have not moved an inch. You are still standing exactly where you were, high on the fumes of a fantasy, while the real work sits untouched in the dark. And this is why you feel stuck. This is why you feel that hollow, gnawing emptiness when the attention fades and the room goes quiet, because you traded your strength for attention. But the year ahead requires something different from you. If you truly want transformation, not cosmetic upgrades, not a prettier mask over the same decay, you must learn the discipline of disappearing. You must become comfortable with the unseen places. You must recognize that the most powerful move you will ever make is the one nobody hears about in advance. Real power does not shout. It does not beg for attention. It does not demand an audience. Think of the seed buried beneath the soil. Does it announce it's cracking open? Does the oak insist on spectators while it sends roots deep into frozen earth? Remember, it grows quietly. It grows unseen. It anchors itself where no one is watching. So when the storm arrives, and storms always arrive, it remains standing. You are that seed, but you keep digging yourself up to check if anything has changed. You keep exposing your roots to the glare of public opinion before they have had time to stabilize. And then you wonder why things wither. You must stop granting people access to your vision before it is ready to breathe. Not everyone deserves a seat at the front of your process. Most people around you are not capable of handling the scope of what you are building. When you share massive dreams with limited minds, they do not see possibility. They see their own ceilings reflected back. They will tell you to be realistic. They will warn you it is too risky. They will plant doubt, not because they despise you, but because your growth highlights their refusal to grow. So the first rule is simple, though it is not easy. Close your mouth, keep it shut. Stop explaining yourself. Stop trying to justify your existence. Stop forcing people to understand you. You owe no one an explanation for your evolution. You do not owe anyone a detailed map of where you are going or how you intend to get there. That part belongs solely to you. The long nights belong to you. The early mornings when your body begs for sleep, but your purpose refuses to let you quit, those are yours. The setbacks that dropped you to your knees, yours when you move in silence. You become dangerous. You become difficult to read. People fear what they cannot see and respect what they cannot predict. In a world where everyone is broadcasting every thought online, the person who keeps their plans close is the one who truly controls the board. Before we fully dive in, I just ask for one small thing. If you could take a second to like or hype the video, it helps me to reach more people who might need these words today. Thank you. Now, silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is a weapon. It stops you from reacting out of impulse, from saying things you cannot take back. But more importantly, it forces you to sit with yourself, and that, if you are honest, is what unsettles you the most, being alone with your own reflection. We drown our days in noise, podcasts, playlists, scrolling gossip, constant stimulation, because if we ever shut it all off and sat alone with our thoughts, we might have to confront the person in the mirror. And for many of you, that person feels unfamiliar. For some, that person is someone you don't even respect. You have spent so much time constructing a version of yourself for public display that you have misplaced the self that actually lives underneath. You have been sprinting away from your own reflection. But if you intend to win in 2026, the running has to stop. You must look at that reflection and say, I am fixing this. Not for applause, not for approval for yourself. You must reach the point where you value yourself enough to honor your own word. How are you going to trust yourself with building something great if you cannot even trust yourself to get up when the alarm rings? How can you expect the world to respect you if you refuse to respect your own boundaries? If you cannot put the junk food down, silence the distractions, and do the work when no one is there to witness it? Your life is sculpted by the micro choices you make in private. The world applauds you publicly for the discipline you practice alone. But you crave the reward without the process. You want the celebration without the sacrifice. You want the comeback without the crucifixion. Yet you must let the old version of you die if you are going to give birth to who you are becoming. This is about reclaiming sovereignty. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus taught that we are not shaken by events themselves, but by the meanings we assign to them. We torment ourselves because we attach our happiness to circumstances outside our control, opinions, approval, outcomes, scoreboards. But the Stoics discovered the truth. The only domain you truly govern is yourself. Your judgments, your choices, your character. Imagine redirecting all the energy you waste obsessing over perception, crafting image, chasing validation, and investing it into your foundation. Picture your energy like a bank account. Every time you feed drama, you make a withdrawal. Every time you argue with fools, you move toward bankruptcy. You must stop hemorrhaging power. Guard your focus as if it were the last bottle of water in the desert, because 2026 will confront you with a question. Are you prepared? Not do you want it? Everyone wants it. The wealth, the love, the love. The real question is whether you are capable of carrying the responsibility that comes with it, because success has weight. And if you have not built the strength to hold it, it will crush you. Strength is created through resistance. It is forged through discomfort. There is no greatness without a season of pain. I know you want shortcuts. I know you keep searching for the trick, the hack, the loophole, but the easy road leads to a difficult life. The difficult road, discipline, stillness, focus leads to freedom. You must choose your struggle. Being broke is hard. Becoming financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Being out of shape is hard. Committing to the gym is hard. Committing to the gym is hard. Choose your hard. Confronting difficult truths is hard. Living with resentment is hard. Choose your hard. There is no path free from challenge, but the struggle you deliberately choose in the quiet, the battle of self-mastery, that is the struggle that liberates you. Think about the dark room in photography before an image becomes beautiful. It must first be developed in darkness. It has to sit in chemicals. It has to undergo a process where light cannot touch it, because if the light hits too soon, the image is destroyed. You are in that dark room right now. Maybe you feel isolated. Maybe it feels like life is burying you, but shift your perspective. You are not being buried. You are being planted. This season of aloneness is not abandonment. It is insulation. Life is shielding you while you grow. It is stripping away distractions, removing counterfeit friendships, silencing noise so that for the first time you can hear your own voice clearly. Do not flee the quiet. The quiet is where the answers live. There is an old saying, the fool reveals himself by talking. The wise man by staying quiet. Silence allows you to observe. It lets you see the entire chessboard. It reveals motives, patterns, and truth. But when you are constantly talking, you are blind. You are projecting instead of perceiving. Silence gives you leverage. It puts you in the position of strength, because while everyone else is busy revealing themselves, you are collecting insight. So how do we enter 2026 with that kind of power? First, you have to destroy your addiction to later. Tomorrow is deceptive. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. You say, I'll begin next month, next week, Monday morning. No, you begin now. Every time you delay, you are programming your brain to accept failure. You are teaching yourself that your word carries no weight. You must become someone who executes immediately. Speed of action. If an idea comes, you move quietly. No posting, no announcing, no calling everyone to discuss it. You simply take the first step. Second, you must fall in love with the monotony of consistency. We worship highlight reels. Second, you must fall in love with the monotony of consistency. We worship highlight reels. We love movie montages where transformation happens in 3 minutes with inspiring music. Real life is not a montage. Real life is waking up when it is cold, dark, and inconvenient and doing it anyway. Real life is repeating the same small disciplines day after day until they stack into something extraordinary. It is dull, it is repetitive, but that is exactly where the breakthrough hides, in the mud, in the grind, in the repetition. Third, you have to detach emotionally. That doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means refusing to let every external event hijack your inner world. Someone cuts you off, you don't react. Someone insults you, you don't react. You refuse to be controlled like a puppet. You anchor yourself. You choose your interpretation. You decide what has meaning. That is real freedom. And here is the truth about people who truly rise. They have a vision so vivid, so compelling that nothing pulls them off course. They develop tunnel vision. They don't glance left to compare. They don't glance right to check who is criticizing them. Their eyes stay forward. They compete only with their potential, not with other people. And when you begin living like that, people will notice. They'll ask, why are you quieter? Why don't we see you out anymore? Why have you changed? You won't need to justify anything. You'll simply smile because you know you are constructing something they can't yet comprehend. You are fading from your old life so you can rule in the new one. You must be willing to be the villain in someone else's narrative if it means being the hero in your own. You have to set boundaries that make others uncomfortable. You must be willing to say no without apology. No, I am not coming. No, I am not available. No, that doesn't serve me. Your worth is not measured by how accessible you are. Your worth is reflected in what you guard. Hear this clearly. The season of playing small is finished. The era of begging for permission is over. You're going to build your own table, and you'll build it quietly in the dark while everyone else sleeps. There is something fierce inside you that has been sedated, numbed by comfort, fear, and other people's opinions. It is time to wake it, but you don't awaken it with noise. You awaken it with a whisper, I am finished with mediocrity. Another whisper, I am willing to endure for what I want. You have the same 24 hours as the greats. The difference is not time. It is direction. They don't spill their energy on distractions. They don't chase every argument, every insult, every snake into the woods to analyze why it bit them. They patch the wound and keep moving forward. So as we look toward 2026, I want you to make a covenant with yourself, a covenant of silence and relentless focus over the next year. You are going to disappear into your mission. You are going to study your craft as if your entire life depends on it, because it does. You are going to train your mind, your body, and your spirit with an intensity that feels slightly intimidating even to you. And when the urge to quit shows up, and when the inspiration is gone and only discipline remains, you will remember this moment. You will remember that this was your choice. You selected this road. You chose the path of the warrior. You chose the path of the lion that moves quietly through the tall grass. You do not need the world to believe in you. In truth, it is often better if they do not. Let their doubt become fuel. Let their jokes become timber for your fire. But do not torch your own life trying to prove them wrong. Instead, build something bigger, stronger, undeniable. Everything you desire sits behind a door labeled focus. And the only way through is alone. You leave your baggage at the threshold. You leave the craving for validation at the threshold. You leave the outdated version of yourself at the threshold. The question is, are you courageous enough to walk through? Are you willing to be quiet? Are you willing to bet on yourself when logic says fold? Because if you can cultivate that level of stillness and concentration, 2026 will not simply be another calendar year. It will be the year you finally meet the person you were designed to become, but it begins now, not later, not when things calm down. Now, with a decision to mute the noise, a decision to face the mirror and say, it is just you and me. The world is loud. Be still. The world is scattered. Be focused. The world is pretending. Be genuine. Move silently and let your achievements speak for you. But here is where things get real. Saying you'll stay silent is one thing. Enduring the silence is another. When you stop performing for approval, when you stop posting every meal and every mile, when you stop engaging people who drain you, the room gets very quiet. And inside that quiet, something heavy appears. The weight of your potential looking right back at you. Desperation pushes away what you want. The more you chase success, love, or validation, the farther it runs. Picture trying to grab a butterfly. The harder you chase, the faster it escapes. But if you stand still, if you focus on cultivating your garden, if you focus on becoming grounded, the butterfly comes to you. That is the posture you need entering 2026. Stop chasing. Stop begging for seats at tables where you are not even valued. When you stop chasing, you begin attracting because you start moving from abundance, not scarcity. You must reach the point where you can stare into the mirror and honestly say, I like who I am, not the edited version people see online, not the persona who buys status and validation, the raw, flawed, scarred version. Dry Creek Dwayne once said something powerful. I like me, I would buy me a drink. Can you say that? Because if you cannot stand yourself, you will forever be enslaved to the opinions of people who also dislike themselves. Here is a staggering truth. If your dog gets sick and receives medication, there's a very high chance you will make sure they take it every day. But when you yourself receive prescriptions, statistically, the odds that you follow them correctly drop dramatically. Consider what that reveals about your self-worth. You are fully capable of nurturing an animal, yet you neglect your own soul. You would never starve your pet, but you starve your spirit daily. You starve your dreams. You feed your body junk. You feed your mind trash, and then wonder why your life feels ill. In 2026, you must begin treating yourself like someone you are responsible for protecting. Extend to yourself the same care, patience, and dignity you offer to strangers. And part of that care means guarding your energy from snakes. Picture this. You are walking through the woods and a snake bites you. What do? Do you sprint after it to punish it? Do you interrogate it to understand why it attacked? Do you shout at it? Of course not. If you chase the snake, the poison spreads faster and it kills you. You don't chase the snake. You address the wound. You get help. You save your life. Yet so many of you chase snakes every single day. Someone disrespects you at work. That is a bite. You replay the moment, talk about it for days, and scheme retaliation. You are chasing the snake. Someone leaves a hateful comment, another bite. You spend a half an hour crafting the perfect reply. You are chasing the snake. A relationship ends. Another bite. You stalk their page, analyze their happiness, rehearse every detail. You are lost in the forest and the venom is spreading. In 2026, we don't chase snakes. We heal, we release, we refuse to let revenge distract us. The greatest revenge is not destroying someone. It is growing to the point that they no longer matter. It is becoming so absorbed in your own ascent that you forget they even exist. Which leads us back to the work, the tedious, unglamorous work. We live in a culture obsessed with results and allergic to process. Everyone wants the trophy. No one wants the pre-dawn practice. Everyone wants the viral moment. Few are willing to endure years of obscurity. But let me share something. The extra 22 seconds. A runner had a rule, no matter the distance, he always went 22 seconds beyond his planned finish. Why? Because that extra moment when your body screams to stop is where growth is born. That is the territory most people refuse to enter. You must become willing to do what doesn't scale. You must design systems where progress happens whether or not anyone is applauding you. The truly powerful, the quiet operators, the introverts who shape the world do not depend on charisma. They depend on preparation. They walk into a room 3 steps ahead because while everyone else was speaking loudly, they were studying. They turn preparation into a weapon. Silence sharpens perception. It allows you to detect what others overlook. In heated discussions, while the loudest voices compete, the person who usually wins is the one who stayed calm, observed everything, took notes, watched body language, and then delivered one precise sentence that shifted the entire conversation. That is the capability you are cultivating, listening as a strategic edge. But you must accept that this road often feels lonely and learn to reinterpret that feeling. Loneliness is poverty of self. Solitude is richness of self. The greatest thinkers, Gates, Buffett, Newton, and others, did not merely tolerate isolation. They leveraged it. They scheduled time to think. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sat quietly with no phone, no playlist, no podcast, just you and your own mind working through your life? If you cannot sit alone for 15 minutes without anxiety, you are not free. You are dependent on stimulation. That chain needs to be broken. You need to cultivate what the Stoics called the view from above. The ability to rise mentally above your situation, to see your problems from a wider, calmer perspective, and in doing so, regain control over yourself when life feels like it is closing in on you, when your problems feel unbearable. Close your eyes and pull back. Imagine yourself sitting in your room, then zoom out to your house then your street, then your city, then your country, then see the earth floating in the vast blackness of the universe. From that vantage point, that irritating email is meaningless. That unanswered text is meaningless. Your ego shrinks and your awareness expands. You remember you are part of something enormous. And most of what you stress about is nothing more than dust. This is the beginning of cognitive distancing. You recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. A thought can appear, I am not good enough. They're laughing at me. But just because it shows up does not make it true. You can look at it and say, that is merely an impression, not reality. You must stop letting your emotions sit behind the wheel. Emotions belong in the passenger seat. They can inform you, we're hurt, we're tired, we're afraid, but they do not get to seize control and drive you into disaster. You decide, you think, you choose. Destructive emotions arise from faulty judgments. Change the judgment and the feeling follows. So when you face a setback in 2026, you are not going to collapse. You are going to pause and ask, is this within my control? If it isn't, you accept it. You don't fight the storm. You don't yell at the clouds. You put on a coat and keep moving. If it is within your control, you take action. That is the dichotomy of control, and it is the foundation of an unbreakable mind. Now let's address the people around you. As you evolve, some will grow uneasy. They'll say, you've changed. And your response should be, that is the point. Because if you never change, you are decaying. Growth makes those who refuse to grow deeply uncomfortable. Your transformation exposes their stagnation. You may need to love some people from afar. You may realize some were only around because you were beneficial to them, not because they cherished you. Absence teaches sometimes the only way to reveal your worth is to remove yourself. If you walk away and they don't try to keep you, they didn't value you. And yes, it stings, but truth liberates. Do not fear becoming the villain in someone else's narrative if it means staying the hero in your own. Boundaries are essential. A boundary isn't a fortress. It is a locked door. You decide who gets a key. And in 2026, you are replacing the locks. You will stop over-explaining. Over-explaining is often a leftover survival tactic. Something you learned when you felt you needed permission to exist. You don't need that anymore. You owe no explanations for your goals, your diet, your bedtime, your ambition. When you stop explaining, you reclaim your authority. No is a full sentence. You will begin building habits silently. You will wake before others, not to show a picture of your watch, but to get ahead of your greatest opponent, the older version of you. You will read books. No one knows you are reading. You will develop skills. No one knows you are developing. You will become a ghost in the process. And yes, a part of you will crave recognition. A part of you will want to shout, look at how hard I am working. That is ego speaking. Silence it. Because the dopamine hit you get from announcing your goals tricks your brain into believing progress has already been made, making you less likely to finish the job. Bottle that energy. Let pressure build. Allow that intensity to propel you forward, because fatigue will come and you'll need fuel to keep going. There will be days when you question everything. There will be days when the dark room feels more like a prison than a sanctuary. In those moments, you have to rely on discipline, not motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a command. Motivation says, I don't feel like it. Discipline says, I don't feel like it. Discipline says, do it anyway. You have to fall in love with the boredom of consistency. The compound effect is real. Small, smart choices repeated consistently over time equal radical difference. It is not the one heroic workout. It is the 300 workouts you did when you didn't want to. It is not the one viral video. It is the hundreds of hours of practice that made you good enough to make that video. We are talking about a total restructuring of your mind. You're going to stop being a consumer and start being a producer. Most people wake up and immediately give their brain to the world. They check texts, emails, social media. They are reacting. In 2026, you will not react. You will create. You will take the first hour of the day for yourself. You will claim your territory before the world tries to invade it. You need to understand that nobody is coming to save you. No white knight, no lottery ticket, no magic government program. It is you against you. The mirror test is the only test that matters. When you brush your teeth at night, can you look yourself in the eye and say, I gave it everything today? Or do you have to look away because, you cut corners, you took the easy way out, make 2026 the year you stop looking away. You're building a legacy. A legacy isn't just money. It is the example you set. It is the proof that it is possible to change. You are breaking generational curses by simply refusing to be the same person your parents were, by refusing to pass down the same trauma and the same excuses. And listen, you are going to fail. Let's get that out of the way. You are going to stumble. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the success. Thomas Edison didn't fail. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. You have to be willing to look foolish. You have to be willing to be a beginner. The amateur practices until they get it right. The professional practices until they can't get it wrong. You are becoming a professional at your own life. This is about resilience. It is about being the person who can get hit and keep moving forward. Dry Creek Dwayne talked about how we pick up coping mechanisms from our parents, putting on a fake smile while screaming on the inside. You have to break that. You have to be real with yourself. If you are hurting, admit it, process it, don't bury it, but don't let it stop you. Use it. Pain is fuel. There is a concept called amor fati, the love of fate. It means you don't just tolerate what happens to you. You love it, you embrace it, you lose your job, good opportunity to find a better one. You get injured, good opportunity to train your mind while your body heals. This mindset makes you invincible. Because if you can find the benefit in the tragedy, life cannot defeat you. You are going to move with quiet confidence, not the loud insecurity masking arrogance that shouts, "Look at me," but the deep, grounded certainty of an oak tree. The oak tree doesn't scream at the storm. It just stands. Its roots go deep. You are growing your roots now, and roots grow in the dark. So stop rushing. Stop trying to hack the process. Trust the timing of your life. Nature doesn't rush yet. Everything is accomplished. The sun rises when it is time. The flower blooms when it is ready. You are on your own timeline. Stop looking at someone else's highlight reel and comparing it to your behind the scenes. You don't know their story. You don't know what they sacrificed or what they inherited. Keep your eyes on your own paper. Focus, tunnel vision. The horse has blinders on for a reason, so it doesn't get spooked by what is on the left and right, so it focuses only on the finish line. Put your blinders on. The news distraction, the celebrity gossip distraction, the drama in the group chat distraction, delete it, block it, ignore it. If it doesn't make you money, make you stronger, make you happy. It is a parasite. Cut it off. You have to be ruthless with your time. Time is the one resource you can never get back. You can get more money. You can get more friends. You cannot get more time. And every moment you spend arguing with someone who refuses to think is a piece of your life you throw away. High performers create time. Low performers manufacture excuses. So as you step forward, I want you to carry a simple mantra. Nobody cares. Work harder. It may sound brutal, but it is freeing. Nobody cares about your complaints. Good. That means you don't have to act for them. Nobody cares about your excuses. Good. That means the only path forward is effort. You are the one writing this story. The pen is in your hand. Maybe 2025 felt like confusion, struggle, noise. But 2026 is different. This is the chapter where the main character retreats into the wilderness and returns transformed. This is the season of training, and it isn't a 3-minute montage with dramatic music. It is 365 days of quiet, gritty, uncelebrated labor. Are you ready to write that chapter? The decision happens now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow lies. I'll start Monday is the anthem of failure. You begin immediately. You put the phone down after this. You clean your space. You sit in silence for 10 minutes. You keep one small promise to yourself, because if you can keep one, you can keep two. And when you stack those promises, you build trust with yourself. And once you trust yourself, once you actually like yourself, you become dangerous. The world is going to grow louder. Distractions will intensify. Pressure to conform will escalate, but you are going to become the calm center of the storm. Steady, focused, quiet. Let them gossip, let them doubt, let them sleep. You have work to do. And let's be honest about what that work really looks like. We fantasize about cinematic success, fast cars, bright lights, applause. Reality, the Bardisa. Work is dull, repetitive, ordinary. And that is where most people snap. They are addicted to stimulation and cannot tolerate the stillness of routine. They crave the championship but avoid the practice. So, let me remind you of the power of a little more. 2026 will not be won through rare, dramatic leaps. It will be won in those 22-second moments in the last rep, in the extra 5 minutes. You stay with the work when you want to quit. That is how you toughen the mind. That is how you build armor. You discover that most of your limits are mental illusions, not physical walls. You are capable of far more than you realize. But you never learn that if you stop the moment discomfort arrives. And in this season, stop assuming the loudest voice is the strongest player. Our culture idolizes the showman, the performer, the talker, but the quiet ones, the true builders, win differently. They don't rely on charisma, they rely on systems. While others hype themselves through the day, the quiet few are documenting, automating, designing structures that continue working when they are not in the room. They build machines powered by competence, not ego. That is what you must become in 2026. The architect of your life. Stop giving speeches about what you'll do. Build routines that make success unavoidable. Look at Satya Nadella at Microsoft. He didn't transform the company by shouting the loudest. He did it with structure, culture, and disciplined frameworks. That is the blueprint you need. Turn preparation into your advantage. Weaponize it. When you step into a room, a negotiation, an interview, a date, you should already be several moves ahead while others were talking. You were studying while they were posting. You were researching. Preparation levels the playing field. It lets you compete on completely different terms. You don't need to dominate every conversation if you can deliver one insight that shifts the entire outcome because you did the work before you arrived. Silence lets you hear what others miss. It lets you read the environment. You notice hesitation in someone's voice. You see the slight shift in posture. You catch what is implied, not only what is said. That is intelligence gathering. That is strategy. When you never stop talking, you constantly reveal your position. When you stay quiet, you reinforce it. But to live this way, to truly lock in, you must abandon the victim mindset. This is the difficult part. You have to accept that your life is your responsibility. Yes, things happened to you that were unfair. Yes, life hit you with heartbreak, trauma, misfortune. But listen carefully to the distinction Will Smith made. It may not be your fault that you were broken, but it is absolutely your responsibility to repair yourself. It isn't your fault when the car breaks down, but it is your job to figure out how to move again. If you sit on the side of the road blaming everyone else, you stay stuck there. You cannot walk into 2026 pointing fingers. Each time you blame your ex, your boss, the economy, your parents, you hand them authority over your life. You are saying they control your happiness. You have to take the keys back. You have to say, this mess may not be something I created, but cleaning it up is entirely on me. That is power. That is freedom. You cannot control the cards, but you can control the way you play them. And maybe you feel like you don't have enough to begin. Maybe you feel shattered, incomplete, lacking resources. Let me remind you of the song Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. One of the most iconic songs of a generation, written by someone going through a divorce, isolated in a hotel, depressed, blocked creatively, with a guitar missing 2 strings. No perfect studio, no perfect circumstances, just broken tools and a broken heart. And he created something timeless with what he had. That is where you are. You keep waiting for everything to be fixed, waiting for the perfect timing, the perfect tools, the perfect mood. But you have to create with what is left. You have to build using the pieces you still have. 2 strings were enough for him. Your breath, your mind, your time, they are enough for you. The hero isn't the one who has everything. The hero is the one who advances anyway. Look at Tiger Woods. Regardless of how you feel about him personally, after surgery, scandal, accidents, pain, he still walked onto the course at the Masters, not at his highest level, but he said something powerful. I've given myself a chance. That is the mission. Show up. By quietly doing the work, by staying disciplined, you give yourself a chance. Stay home, you have none. Get up even limping, and you have possibility. And you must trust the pace of this process. We want success delivered like a package, fast, predictable, guaranteed. But nature doesn't operate like that. A tree doesn't panic because it hasn't grown 10 feet yet. It deepens its roots in darkness for months, sometimes years. Nothing is visible above the ground to the outside world. It looks dead. But beneath the soil, a massive support system is forming. You are in that rooting season. 2026 is the foundation. Building phase. Do not dig up the seed to check its progress. You'll destroy it. Trust that the effort is accumulating. Trust that silence is strengthening you. Trust that discipline is shaping your character. The bamboo tree spends 5 years growing beneath the ground with no visible sign of life. Then in 6 weeks, it explodes nearly 90 feet upward. You are that bamboo. You are developing in the dark now so you can rise in the light. So stop staring at other people's timelines. Stop comparing yourself to the friend who just advanced or the influencer who just bought a house. You don't know their story and you don't know their season. You are in your own season. And right now, your season is focus, silence, and preparation for a harvest they cannot imagine yet. You must be willing to be misunderstood for a while. People will say, you are distant. They'll think you've changed. Let them. You are detoxing from validation. You are breaking the addiction to attention. Withdrawal from attention makes you feel invisible. But in that invisibility, you gain weight. You become substance instead of image. Picture 2026 as the year you become invisible to distraction and devoted to purpose. Imagine waking up with such clarity that you don't even reach for your phone because your mission is already clear. Imagine going to bed not anxious about what you missed, but tired because you gave everything. This is resilience. This is amor fati, loving your fate. Not just surviving hard seasons, but embracing them as the forge that shapes you. The obstacle isn't blocking the path. The obstacle is the path. You are building a mind that watches emotion without being enslaved by it. A mind that zooms out, sees problems as small and potential as limitless. A mind that focuses only on what is within its control and lets the rest spin as it will. And when you finally emerge from this season of silence, people will be stunned. Not because you tried to impress them, but because they never saw the work. They won't see the 4 a.m. mornings, the broken strings, the roots spreading underground. They will call it luck and talent. But you'll know it was silence, focus, discipline, and the choice not to quit when quitting was easy. The decision to bet on yourself when everything said fold. If you are still here, you are not like everyone else. You are part of the small group that finishes what they start. Right? I am locked in for 2026. If you are part of the rare ones who move in silence and let results talk, this is where the committed find each other. So here is the challenge as we step toward 2026. Make a vow of silence, not that you never speak, but that you stop speaking about what you plan to do. Let your results speak. Take the energy you waste broadcasting your life and invest it into building your life. Close your mouth, open your mind, and get to work. The world is loud. Be calm. The world is frantic. Be still. The world is fake. Be real. Focus on your path. Stay quiet. Watch your life realign. Watch yourself become who you were meant to be. The time for talking is over. The time for becoming has begun. Are you ready? Remember, only you decide how limitless you are.